What is going on, everybody? Tyler Brandt back here with another video post-game Monday in what was the best game of Week 2 by far. And that, of course, is our guys, the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks, a game fit for the entire world to watch, and the entire world got to watch it on Sunday Night Football. Unfortunately, it was not the outcome that the Patriots fans would like, but there is a ton to be proud of and a ton to look forward to after this incredible matchup. So let's break down the post game and why they lost the game, but this was about as good of a loss as you could have for a loss if you're the New England Patriots. The final score of this game, 35-30. The game ended on the 1-yard line. I'm sure you have seen it, and it was another classic game in a great rivalry. It's a shame these teams only play once every 4 years because every single game is an absolute classic. Now, if you watched the pregame show earlier on Sunday, I said very straightforward that the difference in this game was going to be Russell Wilson. It used to be the Patriots that had that difference maker at quarterback, the guy that would get you the plays you needed to make to win big games. It used to be number 12. He's gone. And Cam was great, and we're going to talk about how good Cam was. But Russ, we saw him 5 touchdowns, another incredible night. A pretty much perfect night if Greg Olsen doesn't drop that pick 6 for Devin McCourty. But you were looking at and you were watching Russell Wilson play like the best quarterback in football through 2 weeks of the NFL. And he was doing things that only Russell Wilson can do. And that was the difference in this game. And that was why the Seattle Seahawks won this game. Let's break down Russell Wilson's stat line a little bit in this game. He was 21 of 28. That's a 75% completion percentage. 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Again, the pick 6. 10.3 yards per attempt. They were shredding the New England Patriots defense all night long, both on the air and on the ground. They were really doing whatever they wanted. I was afraid of it. And he finished the game with a 132 passer rating. Again, he's been through 2 weeks the best quarterback in the NFL, bar none. And he showed it again last night. On the Patriots side of things, especially defensively, let's start with the back end. No shock to anybody here if you watch the game. Gilly had a pretty rough game. It's been 2 games in a row that he hasn't been great. He's still an elite cornerback. He's still 1 of 1. He's off to a tough start. Last week against Miami, it was a little fluky, but it wasn't a good game. This week, he got beaten. I mean, DK had the step on him. Russ put the ball perfectly where it needed to be on the long touchdown. And DK just got the better of the guy. They were very chippy. It was a very chippy matchup back and forth. On that long play, I may be the only one that thinks this. On that long touchdown strike, it seemed like Gilly knew he was beaten, and he was trying to tackle or get some sort of a hand on DK Metcalf to draw a personal foul, to draw a pass interference, because he knew he got cooked and he knew it was a perfect ball. But DK, being the absolute stud athlete and just brick ton of man that he is, I mean, Gilly couldn't do anything to throw him off, and he walked into the end zone on a just, again, beautifully thrown ball by Russell Wilson. It didn't just stop with Gilly. I mean, John Jones kind of got cooked all night by Tyler Lockett, and the long strike to Jason McCourty, the long strike to David Moore, another perfect ball by Russell Wilson just over the head of Jason McCourty. He didn't play the ball perfectly, but you have to understand also that Russ put that ball exactly where only David Moore can get it, and that's just what he can do. He had an excellent game. He toasted the Patriots receivers, and he's right now the MVP of the league through 2 weeks. Patriots pass rush wasn't the worst. From what I saw of the game, they did get beat a lot. I mean, Russ had a lot of time to throw. He was getting out of the pocket. They didn't do a great job of containing him, at least not the job that I think was satisfactory towards how they game planned against him. But they did manage to get 2 sacks, 8 quarterback hurries, and it seemed like while they weren't consistently all over Russ, they were kind of making big plays when they needed to make big plays. So maybe to me, like 75% of the game, they were not great. I mean, just honestly not great. But the defense, especially up front, they made some big plays when they needed to, so I got to give them a little credit for that. Although, against another great quarterback, they just weren't great, especially rushing the passer. Now, let's get to some of the bright spots of this New England team and this New England loss on Sunday Night Football. The offense looked spectacular. For all things considered, going across the country, in Seattle, in their building, granted no fans, granted not the best defense in the world, although they have some superstars, they looked very good. Let's start with Cam Newton, Mr. Newton. 30 of 44 on the night, completed 68% of his throws. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, a 94 passer rating, and 47 rushing yards. He was about as good as you could ask Cam Newton to be for knowing the offense for about 2.5 months. Now, the interception wasn't great. It was a little frustrating because you could see Cam telegraphing that throw, that little out route to Damiere Byrd on the left side all night. Who was it? It was Quentin Dunbar that was all over that ball. Quentin Dunbar was reading that little out route, and Cam threw it late and a little behind Damiere Byrd, and Quentin Dunbar just capitalized. And that was something, when I was watching the game live, you know, Brady's gone, and that's the past. But to rehash some of the things and what we've seen from the Patriots and what we've been accustomed to is Brady doesn't normally just telegraph throws that badly, and that was the worst throw that Cam's had since he's been a Patriot. It was telegraphed, everybody knew it was coming, but it didn't really affect the outcome, so no harm, no foul, but it was Cam's first interception as a New England Patriot. The wide receiver room, the group that had a very productive Sunday Night Football. Damiere Byrd looked very good. Julian Edelman had a career high in receiving yards in this game. N'Keal Harry had pretty much his best game as a wide receiver so far. Interesting to see the different ways they're getting open with Cam Newton. All of a sudden, this offense that seemed dead a season ago isn't as dead as people want to make them out to be. Now, I'm not saying they have an elite wide receiver group, but these guys are finding holes in coverage, and they're getting the ball down the field. And, I mean, Cam threw for 400 yards last night. He did pretty good, and they were finding holes and room to run on that secondary. All things considered, though, Seattle was daring New England to throw the ball. You could see how they were playing all night. The run game for New England was pretty average. I think it was 25 carries for 60 and change yards. All around, it wasn't very good. Sony Michel had a few runs. Rex Burkhead had a few runs. But it was very lackluster as a whole. And you could tell Seattle was daring them to beat them throwing the ball. And Cam and that offense did pretty good throwing the ball, once again. One of the more frustrating parts of the game, the Josh McDaniels play calling. When they're down 2 scores and they finally open it up, it's working. It looks good. I don't know why McDaniels was waiting to get down 2 scores to open up this offense. I found it very frustrating. I'm not the only one that felt that way, just reading what people were saying. I thought it was very weird why the leash was still on Cam when Seattle was daring them, again, to throw the ball down the field, and it was clearly working. So I wonder if something's different in that second half. Does New England put up more points? Are they able to get in a position where they're driving with a field goal to win the game or something else if McDaniels just opens up the playbook a little more? In terms of play calling, the goal line play, the last play of the game, I'm not mad. I didn't see a lot of people who are mad at that play. You're putting the ball in your best offensive player's hands. That's Cam Newton. Seattle made a play. That's just football. That's how it goes. I would have rathered him with the ball in his hands doing what he does best than for him to sail a ball over somebody's head and his arm lose the game. So I wasn't really upset with that play call. Seattle made a play. Good for them. They have a good defense. They had been playing downhill in the box all night, and they just made a play. However, speaking of points left on the board, we have to talk about it because it wouldn't be a post-game coverage. It wouldn't be a post-game show if I didn't talk about it. If Nick Folk makes the field goal at halftime, the Patriots are driving down the field to win the game by kicking only a field goal. Now, I know it's very cheap to put a loss on him. It's not really on Nick Folk. But here's the thing. You lose the benefit of the doubt on this team when you can't make field goals anywhere. I keep seeing he's automatic from here, automatic from there. It's been 2 weeks, and I know he's kicked 3 field goals, but he's missed 66.6% of the field goals. He's 1 for 3 on the season. He missed, again, a kick that would have put New England in a position to win the game in the second half if he could make the kick. Granted, it's 54 yards. I know it's not a chip shot, but you lose the benefit of the doubt when you don't make kicks with any regularity. I am sick and tired of having the same sort of conversation every week, and Bill Belichick doubled down today and said Nick Folk is his kicker, so we're going to continue this carousel, and they're going to continue to lose to good teams because they're leaving points on the field. And it's the most frustrating part of this entire team. I am sick and tired of Nick Folk. He should not be in the NFL. Steven Hauschka is sitting on a beach, drinking Coronas, having the time of his damn life, waiting for a team to sign him. He was fine. He's a good kicker. I don't care. He doesn't need to be Adam Vinatieri 2.0. I need a guy that can make some sort of kicks beyond 40 yards and doesn't miss 66% of his kicks. I am done with Nick Folk. With that being said, I don't want to put the game on Nick Folk. It's cheap. Seattle made more plays. Russ made more plays. He's the best quarterback in football right now. That was the difference at the end of the day, just like I said in the pregame show. Finally, before signing off, let's put a bow on this game. Move on to Las Vegas, 1 o'clock. New England's hosting that game next week on CBS. This game, it's a bad loss for New England. Every loss is a bad loss. There's no good losses in the NFL. You get 16 games. You got to win every single one of them. They all mean something, especially when you're chasing the two best teams in football, Kansas City and Baltimore. There's no way around that. They're now second place in the division behind Buffalo, although I think that there's a long, long road ahead in this division, and it is far, far from over. But with that being said, there's a lot of good to take away from this game. They lost to a perennial Super Bowl NFC Championship team at the 1-yard line. There was a lot of bad. The defense wasn't good. They weren't. They got shredded. But at the end of the day, they were a yard away from going into the Seahawks building with this team, with a quarterback nobody wanted, and beating the best quarterback in football through the first 2 weeks. And I'm very proud of the effort this team put out. I'm very proud of everything they did. Although I am mad about certain parts of this team, a majority of this team left it all out there. And guess what? If you're not a fan of this team, I'm sorry to tell you this, but the Patriots are a good team in 2020. And on this video, on this Monday, this is the first time that I can sit here and look at you and tell you that the New England Patriots are a good team. They're going to be playing December games that mean a lot. They're going to be right in on this division. Buffalo got everything. Buffalo got everything they could handle from Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Miami Dolphins earlier on Sunday. So you can't tell me that Buffalo is a lot better than New England, especially if Cam Newton is going to throw the ball like this all season. This division still goes through New England. I don't care who's in first in September. New England runs the AFC East, and I feel bad for Buffalo when they have to play the New England Patriots because this team is a good team. And you can say that now because they can hang with some of the best teams in the NFL. But that is going to do it for this video. I'm sorry this is a late Monday game. We've had some major life changes, some major schedule changes. So these games, these post games might, especially the late games, may not come out on the regular until Monday evening now due to some schedule changing. But that is going to do it for this video. Let me know what you thought of last night's game down in the comments below. Give me everything you want. Let's chop it up down there. Talk about what was another classic game in this all-time great rivalry. One that, unfortunately, we only get to see once every 4 or 5 years. With that being said, I'm Tyler Brandt. Follow me on Twitter @TheTylerBrandt, on Instagram @TalkingPats. I'd love to chop it up with you on there too. Until next time, I'm Tyler Brandt. Last time I'll say that. Signing out. Be good. I'll catch you on the next video.